Hi everyone, I'm Ryan. Welcome back to my garage. I've got a lot I want to try and do this week in a relatively short period of time. I've got things I've committed to with the family, so I'm going to just grab time in the garage this morning, this evening, tomorrow again, try and get everything done. Few topics. Firstly, I've had the remodified XL headstock, which should now fit the CB frame. So I'll show you that in detail in a minute. I'm very, very happy with it. Completed by a local engineering company, and I'm really pleased. That was stopping me progressing with the scrambler. So I think this actually releases me and lets me carry on. So that's excellent. This, the oil leak. I've got various options. Firstly, I want to say massive thank you to those that offered me a case, an engine, whatever I needed. Genuinely appreciate those offers. They are brilliant, and thank you very, very much. I have made the decision to try and keep this engine. Firstly, it's the matching engine number to this frame. It probably doesn't really mean anything. These things aren't valuable, but to me, I want to retain it if possible. So to those of you that said, TIG weld it, yes, absolutely. It can be TIG welded. I'm confident on that. I don't know that myself personally, but everything I've read, everybody I've spoken to says you can TIG weld these cases. But I've spoken to 3 people locally and asked them if they would be willing and able to TIG weld the case back for me. And the answer I got back from all of them was, yes, of course I can. Just strip it down, clean it up, and give me the case, totally without any contamination, and they can repair it. That on these engines is a total rebuild. It's not a case I can lift off. I have to remove every single component from the engine to get to where the crack is. So it's a huge job. And I don't have another reason to go inside this engine at this stage. It appears to be running well. Therefore, I have made the decision that in the short term, I'm going to try and seal the oil leak. I wouldn't call it a repair, but seal the oil leak using like JB Weld. If that holds, that will allow me to give the engine an extended test, a good run, use the bike in the summer, which is the whole point of having these bikes to begin with. And if that does hold, then I've got the bike that I can use. And I know it's not professionally repaired, but it's what I'm capable of right now. So that's the way I'm going forward. Opportunities though, it does give me a chance to give this a bit more of a clean up whilst it's out of the frame. It also gives me an opportunity to test my other engine. So I need to lift this out. The JB Weld's going to take some time to cure. So I think I've got an opportunity to put the other engine in, fill it with oil, see if it runs. And if it does, fantastic. I know that that's a running, working engine for when it goes into the scrambler. So yeah, lots to get done. Let me get started. Quickly show you what I've just had manufactured. So this is the old steering head. So this was the standard that came with the Super Dream, but I'm not going to use this now. But you can see it's just pressed steel, single bolts. So there's very, very little holding the frames in the forks in place. However, this is a whole different ball game. This is proper cast. You've got 3 bolts holding the forks in place. It's much heavier, it's much better built, and I would love to put this on the front and then run a 21-inch front wheel. So the local engineering company made this for me, and look, on the top they've got like a lock nut, which is an Allen key, so I can just wind that out. He says quickly, come on, there you go. So that locks the top bolt down, and that's being turned. That little bespoke top, which then reveals my top bolt, which is a 30mm. I'll just see if I can crack that open. There we go. Very finger tight at the moment. There we go. So remove my 30mm top bolt. Lifts off. And I've got my and the bearings. There we go. So that now got the taper bearings, and I've already got the seal, the other half pressed into the frame. So yeah, taper bearing sits in there. Then a dust seal. And the steering. $30mm bolt, which of course will be tightened appropriately at the right time in the build. Stay still, please. Then the locking goes on top. Not hold too many things. There we go. And that is on. So now I can fit my XL forks. I can put a set of handlebars on that, and I think we have moved forward. I'm proper chuffed with that. So thank you to Lamb Engineering and Finley who created that for me. Really appreciate your help with this build. Thank you. Okay, so the time is now 1 o'clock. I'm going to try and drop this engine. I don't want to damage anything. I don't want to damage the paintwork. I don't really want to take more off the bike than is strictly necessary. So I'm going to try and just remove everything that's delicate, lay the bike on its side, undo the minimum, and then take the engine out. Although it will not be very easy, but let's see how long it takes me. I'll probably do it in the wrong sequence, so this is not a guide on how to do it. This is just me trying to remember what's necessary to get it off quick. So let me get on with it. I'll put you on time lapse. Hopefully this is all right. There we are. 43 minutes. Took a bit longer than I expected. Probably made a few mistakes on the way, but yeah. Okay, so let's get that cleaned up, get a breather, and then I'll try and put the other one in. Excellent. So with the engine out, let me try and show you the crack. It is there. So it runs along here, down here, and there's a small hole just there, and then it continues down.
I'm not actually even sure where it completes. It might not even come all the way to the bottom, so I have to do my best to try and track it. Is that it there? Maybe that's it there, running down here. I'll clean it up and have a damn good attempt at revealing its exact path, and then put in a fine, probably Dremel it out or something similar, just give me a slight groove, and then put some JB Weld on it. See, it was not obvious initially. There we go. I think it's probably about the best shot I can get of it. So I think that's my problem area, just in here. Okay, right, let's carry on. Alright, let's prep that one to temporarily go in, see whether it's going to run or not whilst that one's being worked on. So first things I've obviously noticed, inlet manifolds, these nice new squidgy ones, look, and these ones are like concrete. So let me put those on there temporarily. Engine mount as well, similarly, let me just move that across, and I've just removed the neutral indicator light, so I'll attach that there, and I've got an oil pressure warning which I need to connect so I can check that the oil pressure is building, but got no connection, so I'll just need to find a bullet and put that on there. Other than that though, I think it's mostly ready to go in. So yeah, okay, let's switch those bits over and let's see how I can get this back in place without taking everything off the frame, which was the way in which I managed to get it in myself the last time. Okay, now I just need to get that engine in that frame. Okay, this might be a struggle. So this probably won't work. I'm trying to work out how to lift the engine. So I've put a strap through the top engine mount and attached it to an exercise belt, which I have pulled down as hard as I can. So that is under quite a amount of stress. It's trying to lift the engine. So that, I think, will take a lot of weight. And I should be able to go underneath it now and actually try and lift that by myself. So let's see if that works. Excuse me then.
It's too area.
You're helping me, are you?
Yeah, I'm just doing a calculator. What you have if you're trying to do it. That is in the way. You have to try and get it to another place so you can lift it up in a different way.
Well, I must say, that's taken a lot of weight off of it.
You can't do it.
Come on. What's in there? Give me a stick.
How is the engine still strapped? Daddy, I think I found a spot where the engine is attached.
Have you?
Yes, we need to unscrew that part from this, and so I think the engine so this half can be released from this side, and then we can take it that apart and probably put it in the engine part.
Thank you for your help.
Here.
And thank you
It's
to
right
that.
here, technically.
Okay. And thank you to that strap, because that took a lot of the weight. Okay, so that was about 10 minutes to get the engine back in the frame and all the mounts back on. I haven't done those ones yet, but they're easy. I've done the front, done the two at the back, so it's just the top to go. I have to go now because I've got promised to take my son to a cinema. and I will continue with this later. But I must say, that exercise strap, taking the weight of the engine, made that 100 times easier than I was expecting. I'll probably do something similar in reverse, because that was just so much easier. Okay, right. It's now the next day, so I just need to quickly connect up the carbs, ignition, electrics, and we can give her a little test. So only a short task to do, and then we will find out if this is a running engine. So most importantly, got myself a cup of tea. Drink the tea first, then work on the bike. Otherwise things go very badly wrong. Okay, let's get this back together and let's see if the engine works, which I do properly hope it does, because yeah, that's the basis of the scrambler build. And if it is no good, that's going to take me back massively. Okay, wish me luck. Okay, well that's just taken quite a bit longer than I anticipated. So getting the engine in, physically mounted in the frame, not a problem. Issues I then had was the top engine bolt that went through there. I must have mixed the bolts up, and it's a M10 1.25 pitch, and I must have tried to put the wrong bolt on it, which then caused some damage to the thread. So then I had to take that off, get my tap and die set, sort the thread out, and then sort that. So that took me a while. I cannot seem to connect the gear change up. Now I've measured that and it looks the same, but I just can't get the splines to line up between the mechanism and the selector. But I'll worry about that if I can get the engine to fire. I've put on the front pipes of the exhaust, not the silencer yet. I've not tried to turn it over at all. I've taken the spark plugs out, so the first thing I'm going to do is just spray a little bit of lube inside the cylinders. Then I'm going to put some oil in the bike because it's dry at the moment. I've temporarily transferred over the starter motor, so that's a working starter motor. I don't intend to keep that on the scrambler, but I've got full electrics on this bike, so it seems pointless not to. I've got the kickstart that I'm keen to try. I've temporarily connected up the clutch, rev counter, oil pressure sender and neutral indicator. I've got some indicators, so they seem to be working. So yeah, let's put some oil in it, dribble some oil down the barrels, then I will slowly try and turn it over on the kickstart, and if that all feels good, we'll give us some fuel and try and start it. Lubrication. Find out how much it's meant to take, and then I'll carefully add some. Okay, she's got oil, spark plugs are out, ignition's off. I just want to know if I try the kickstart, that'll get my hand. Does it rotate? She's rotating. Sounds sensible. No resistance, no bangs, no clunks. And the kickstart mechanism appears to be working. That's damn good. I mean, it looked right when I put it together, but it's the first time it's been in a frame. It's the first time I can actually use it to turn the engine. Okay. Well, that felt okay. So, can I slowly build oil pressure?
Is that even possible on a kick? Not seeing the oil light go out yet. I'd like to, but then I'm not sure kicking it is actually enough to create enough oil pressure to send the light out. Either way, let's do this a bit more. Just keep everything rotating. So far feels good. Oh, yeah, oil pressure light's gone out. Look at that, your baby. There you go.
Electronically, what happens if I push the button? Nothing is the answer. Probably disturb the wiring. Let me give that some consideration. No. The button is doing nothing. Okay. Right. No panic. Let's check everything. That was an easy fix. Just one of the bullets had pulled out from there, which I think was the signal down to the starting solenoid. So now she's turning over fast. Would do. There's no spark plugs in it. The oil pressure is building. That's good. Excellent. Yeah. Put in the spark plugs. Connected up some fuel. See if we get any signs of life at all. Flocking, working, choke. It's trying to fire. That suggests the electrics might be alright. The battery's not at its best. Okay. Right, I'm going to give the battery a little while to charge, and then we might try that again. It's making popping noises. She's not running though. Close. And the fuel. Oh, come on. She wants to do something now. She's firing on the left cylinder and on the right. They're both getting warm. Nothing on the rev counter. That's interesting. Well, then maybe it's not enough to register. Battery's not happy. Whilst the battery was charging, I've just quickly connected up the rear silencer. So if it fires, it should sound a bit more representative. sounding a bit better. Closer. Choke maybe. Okay, running, but not well. Definitely got an exhaust leak from here. I can hear that exhaust. But more than that, it didn't feel smooth. It felt like there was a bit of vibration there. So that was not a particularly promising first startup actually, because if it's not smooth now, it's probably not going to sort itself out. But it ran. It definitely ran. So I'm going to let it cool down a bit, see if I can sort out this front exhaust, and then we'll try it again to see how that sounds. But it was running. It wasn't responsive to the throttle. Okay, well, one step forward. Okay, so it will start and it will run, but it's lumpy, and that doesn't bode well. The engine's I've got no knowledge of the history of this whatsoever. It was bought by me as a non-runner. I've sorted out the electricals and that's clearly working because it is running, so the electricals are okay. It just doesn't feel right, having ridden the other engine, which felt really quite smooth. This just feels lumpy, and I'm not talking about the firing. It's got like a bit of a vibration to it. So yeah, no, I'm not happy with that. Look, this was only intended as a test. What have I learnt? I've learnt that I think this engine might have an internal problem that I need to get to the bottom of and resolve. I've also learnt that I can't connect up this gear selector. I don't know why not. I've tried and tried, but I can't. Don't think that would be a problem when I get to the scrambler build, because actually it won't have this selector on it anyway. All in all, I hoped that I was gonna end this weekend thinking I've proven that's a good engine, but actually I've proven I think there's a problem internally with this engine. That's frustrating, but it's the whole purpose of why I tested it. I would hate to have completed the scrambler build, then found out the engine was knackered. I at least now know that, or at least I suspect that in advance. So that gives me plenty of time to strip it, check the internals. Hey, I was going to strip an engine anyway. Maybe I'll do a test on this, learn what the hell I'm doing, and then I can do it on the other engine and get it TIG welded. It's all fun and games. Right, so I'm not going to mess about with this much more today. I'm going to now concentrate on getting the other engine sealed up, and then I'll swap them back again, probably next weekend. Oh, good experience anyway. Right, so we're preparing the patient for surgery. Put it up on a table, and I've got this attachment which connects into my bench grinder. So that literally just attaches on the side of here as a drive, which then gives me a selection of tools. So I will see if we can set that up and find something appropriate just for chasing this crack down and just giving it something for the JB weld just to bite into. Need to be careful, obviously not go through deep, just open it a little, I think, is appropriate. Let's give this a go. Right, Zach tells me to mix equal quantities of each. I'll try using this plastic container. Okay, I'm going to leave that now to harden off for the next few days. You can stay exactly where it is, and it's definitely covered the crack. I think it's got quite good coverage, and it doesn't come too high up here because the frame comes down there, but that won't interfere with it. I can tidy this up a bit when it's hardened, but that should do the job.
Right, that's it. I'm out of time for this weekend. Positives. Found a new way of fitting the engine into the Super Dream with the bungee. Worked brilliantly. Yeah, never seen it before, so pleased about that. Super Dream's back together, but it's still got the knackered engine in it, and I need to strip it, understand what's wrong with it. If I can fix it, I absolutely will. If I can't, I'm going to need another engine. Frustrating, but out of my control. Going to try and fix it first. This engine, the original one out the Super Dream, is hardening now. I'm going to just leave that alone till later in the week. Then I'm going to fit it. Probably won't do that on camera because you've seen me fit the engine before. Get that back in, and then we can give Flint another road test, and hopefully this time it will be oil tight. So that's it. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. Your support and your help is really appreciated. Again, thanks to everyone who did offer me engines and cases. Who knows? Maybe in the future I'll be back onto you for another reason. But until then, thank you. Stay safe. See you soon.